You're listening to Straight Outta Stratford 203 with Zach and Julian, the best sports podcast in Connecticut. Sit back and enjoy the ride in 3, 2, 1.
Straight out of Stratford, slinging takes like Stafford, talking all the big games, have a beer right after. When it comes to the facts and the stats we provide, better know that our names will be up in the rafters.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 37. I'm your host, Zach.
I'm Julian.
And we are officially back in the studio this week with a lot more sports news to cover. Once again, the WBC has concluded. It was actually very quick. I know we talked about it on the last episode, how it had just started, and we were so excited to really get into the World Baseball Classic. And here we are 2 weeks later, and the World Baseball Classic is already over.
Yeah.
We saw the U.S. somehow make the final after upsetting the DR, and then lose to Venezuela in the final 3-2 after Venezuela had defeated Team Italy in their semifinal.
Well, in Venezuela's defense, they kind of earned.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
It's not just basing it off of the championship game. Their entire run that they made, like, they earned it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. That's something that we'll talk about.
They beat Japan.
They did.
They knocked out Japan.
Yep.
Then they knocked out Italy.
Yep. And then they beat the United States. Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's something that we're going to cover at some point.
Did they go undefeated?
Venezuela? No.
No?
No. They lost to the DR in the preliminary round. But yeah, no, definitely something that we're going to touch on a little bit. First, we'll kind of talk about the championship game itself and what we saw. To be honest, I thought that the pitching matchup was fairly decent. I think Nolan McLean still pitched fairly well. He had a couple rough moments in the game, obviously allowing the home run as well as the sacrifice fly. I mean, it's just not really bringing his best stuff. I thought that it was going to be a lot better from him. You know, he's still very young in his career, so obviously we expected a little bit more from him, but overall I didn't think he pitched bad. I think Eduardo Rodriguez pitched extremely well for Venezuela. I think
Eduardo Rodriguez pitched better than anybody expected him to pitch.
Absolutely. I think that he had the U.S. on their heels the entire time. They couldn't really figure out his stuff. So in that game, you obviously saw, like I said, you know, McLean led up the sac fly in the third inning to Miguel Garcia. Then you have the home run from Wilyer Abreu in the fifth inning. And then the U.S. came back and tied the game in the bottom of the eighth inning thanks to a Bryce Harper 2-run bomb.
Yeah, I was watching the game at my buddy's house with a couple of my friends, and right before that happened, he goes, if Bryce Harper goes deep, he goes, I'm screaming, and if my mom wakes up, I don't care. He goes, if she yells at me, I don't care. He goes, if Harper wakes up, if Harper hits a home run, I'm waking up my entire house.
Yeah, no, and it was a bomb.
And Harper went deep.
Yeah, that was a no-doubt shot.
Oh, once we heard the crack of the bat, I looked at him immediately, and I'm like, dude. And he's like, he started screaming.
Oh, yeah.
We started screaming, get out.
Yeah, that was
insane. We thought that right there was going to send the game to extras, but
yeah, and then
unfortunately,
no, that didn't end up working that way. Eugenio Suarez had a RBI double late into the game to officially give Venezuela a 3-2 lead, and the United States would go down in order in the bottom of the ninth inning. Just a couple things we really wanted to talk about from this game. I think there were three things that really became prevalent in that championship game and somewhat throughout the tournament as well, but you definitely saw it from the championship game. And it's number one, the United States hitting went ice cold in that game. Ice cold.
They only had 3 hits.
And 2 of them came from Bryce Harper, and 1 came from Bryce Turang. When you have Aaron Judge.
When you have 2 guys named Bryce getting your entire hits.
It's not even just the names Bryce. When you have Aaron Judge and Kyle Schwarber and Alex Bregman and all these other names that they had on that roster.
Bobby Witt
Jr.
Roman Anthony.
I mean, the list goes on. Even Byron Buxton and
Pete
Crow Armstrong. There's a lot of guys.
You know who had a really, really, really bad tournament?
Cal Raleigh.
Yep.
Yeah. He did not play well. Even Will Smith didn't do anything in the championship game.
Cal Raleigh wasn't the big dumper. He was the big dump.
Yeah, that was not a good showing. Like I kind of told you before we got into the studio.
Austin Wells had a better tournament than both Cal Raleigh and Will Smith.
Yeah. But like we talked about before we came into the studio, when you have guys like Byron Buxton, who did not register a single hit in the tournament.
Or you have a guy like Alex Bregman who was struggling at the plate, even though his defense is still there at third.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a guy in Gunnar Henderson who has proven time and time again that you need a home run, I'll give you a home run. You need a hit, you can't wait till the 9th inning or the 7th inning. Like Mark DeRosa, that lineup he put out for the final night, final game, it should have been different.
Well, yeah, no, it's kind of where we were going with it too. But before we get into that, like, I know this is going to bother you a little bit because there was one name I said before, and I know he's been getting a lot more flack than he
Aaron
really
Judge.
should be. That's Aaron Judge. Going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, especially when you're the captain of the American team, you got to do better. But you know what? I saw a lot of people saying that it was mostly his fault. Listen, when you have 9 guys in your lineup and 7 of them don't get a single hit, that's a problem. When you have guys like Kyle Schwarber, who's also one of the biggest power bats in baseball, go 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, it's not just his fault.
I'm not going to lie. Judge did strike out 4 times or 3 times. One of them was not his fault. One of them was a missed call.
Yeah.
But 2 of them were. But what I'm going to say here, I think A-Rod said it. He goes, if it wasn't for Judge, USA wouldn't have even made the final game.
Yeah, well, because of that great throw from right field against the DR.
If Judge didn't make that throw against the DR, they probably would have been electric on the bases all night.
Yeah, and
that single throw stopped them from.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like I said earlier, is Aaron Judge is the captain of the team. So when the team loses and the captain doesn't play good, they are going to immediately jump on him quicker than anybody else and say that it was his fault. When, again,
they didn't do that for Mike Trout.
No, of course not. But that's because that's what they love to do. But again, this is one thing that is constant that I see all the time, and it's something that I'm going to clear right now. Was Judge bad in the championship game? Yes. Was the game his fault?
No.
No. It was the entire team's fault.
Now,
entire team.
Now you brought up a name which I'm gonna speak upon. In Kyle Schwarber. I saw him take at least 8 pitches that were over the middle of the plate, or not bottom of the plate, but like top half of the plate, like middle and like just above the middle, where I've seen like that's his sweet spot. Like where I've seen him mash balls and just crush them and send them out. He's standing there in the batter's box and he doesn't even swing at it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if the mentality was there.
He doesn't swing at pitches he knows he could hit out of the park, but at a ball that's 3 inches out of the zone, he'll take a hack at it.
Yeah, and to be fair, I like I was kind of saying, I think it has a lot to do with the mentality, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the U.S. team didn't care, but I'll tell you one thing that I saw from the entire tournament is every other team cared more. The U.S. cared, but when you see the passion and energy brought that the DR brought, that Venezuela brought, that Puerto Rico had, that even Brazil at moments when they were kind of competing, that Mexico had at points during the tournament. Every other team except for Japan, because Japan's a very disciplined, non-celebratory kind of team. They don't do the crazy bat flips. I know Ohtani did in a couple of the games, but a lot of the guys, they're not going to sit there and bat flip and pimp home runs and point at the dugout and stop rounding the bases and doing this and that. Ohtani got away with it because he pimped 2 of them. But everybody else, I mean, the minute the ball comes off the bat, if it was a bomb, they're hyping up the dugouts, spraying water up in the air, throwing sunflower seeds. Like, you could see that the energy was
the person
unmatched.
that cared the most about this tournament for Team USA was Paul Skeens.
Oh, 100%. And you could see it. He was pumped when Bryce Harper hit that home run to tie the game. I mean, there were multiple times where the camera pans over to Skeens in the games that he pitched, especially against the DR where they had big plays or big moments, and he's pumped.
Even against Mexico, when Bobby Witt made those 2 plays, he was...
Yeah, he was excited. Well, that's the best fielding and protection that he's gotten
ever
in his career, so it makes sense. But You could just see that the passion level for these other not organizations, but these other teams was way, way higher than what the U.S. team showed, in my opinion. And it's not a knock. Like I said, it's not that I don't think that they don't care. Obviously they do. But I just think that the intensity level, the passion, just the absolute desire to win that whole thing for everybody else was there, in the U.S. kind of. Well, I mean, they were, but it just was not to the same level. I think that had a lot to do with it. You mentioned the roster decisions. Again, Mark DeRosa, when you got a guaranteed game that is a must-win. We saw it happen against Italy, playing the wrong lineup.
He probably thought there was another game the next day.
Yeah, he thought that it was a best 2 of 3. But against Team Italy, he did the same. Oh, I didn't know that it was a must-win game. Every game is a must-win game in these kind of tournaments.
It's called the elimination stage for a reason.
I mean, it didn't make sense. Even him completely botching that. And then the roster from the championship game. Like I said, Byron Buxton was horrible the whole tournament.
Buxton never should have played in center field that game.
No, PCA should have been starting in center field that game. And I know Bryce Terang had one of the hits. I get it. Why no Gunnar Henderson? He had the highest batting average on the team during the tournament, and he's sitting on the bench.
Henderson plays over Bregman.
Listen, even if you want to play him over Bregman, why is Henderson not in the starting lineup when he has the highest batting average on the team? How?
I don't know.
The only thing that I thought that he did in a right way was benching Cal Rowley and starting Will Smith. Because Will Smith has been big in prove-it moments, especially in the World Series.
I agree.
So I get that. But there were a couple decisions that I was just like, what are we doing here? And I know we talked about this, again, before the show officially started, the whole usage of the bullpen. Now, a lot of people were saying, well, why would you pitch Garrett Whitlock? And obviously, he led up the game-winning run. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is a couple of the pitchers were deemed as unavailable before the game started. So if it did get to that pressure situation, he was the best of what they had available, which sucks. That's the big reason why I complained about the whole tournament, because you are not getting the best U.S. team possible. I mean, obviously not having Corbin Carroll or Mike Trout play, it was detrimental.
You can make an argument that Corbin Carroll going out or not playing was...
Well, it was an injury-based thing.
It was an injury-based thing, but you could say that Corbin Carroll not playing because of his injury might have been better off, because you look at how Roman Anthony did during this tournament.
Yeah, but he probably could have started in center field, though. I think Roman Anthony still would have gotten a lot of chances anyway.
If Corbin Carroll was on that roster, Roman Anthony would not have been on that roster.
Well, who knows? Maybe Byron Buxton wouldn't have been on that roster.
No, Buxton was already... Buxton was already locked in, and Roman Anthony was only on that roster because he was Corbin Carroll's replacement.
But again, I'm not saying for the sake of, who was actually replaced, but I'm saying for the sake of, if you want to put the best team forward, why are you taking Buxton over a guy like Corbin Carroll? Obviously, we know Corbin Carroll was hurt, which is why. But I feel like the U.S. did not even put their best team on the field. I mean, there were a lot of players that did not play. Like, even Lindor not playing for Puerto Rico was detrimental to them. And he didn't play. He's the best player that they got.
I feel like there were... Freddie Freeman backed out of the tournament for Team Canada.
That's what I'm saying, is there were a lot of players that opted out. And I feel like if
Well, I think Freddie Freeman was due to his, children or something.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Well, again, like I said, I'm not jumping to conclusion off of why they backed out. I'm saying for the sake of, if they have the tournament at a different part of the season, like maybe at the end of the year, after the World Series, they play it somewhere warm. Or like almost like the winter leagues do, and you play it, I don't know, in Hawaii, or you play it in Florida,
or they play it exactly where they play it. Like you do Houston and you do Miami.
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
Yeah, and they could do that outdoors or even indoors, depending on what stadium is. Yeah, the dome stadiums. Why don't you do that?
Both of those stadiums are domed.
My point exactly. Even if they wanted to do it outdoors, they could have done it outdoors in the right spot. But what I'm saying is, why don't you do it at the end of the year so every player that wants to play can play in it? And you can get your best roster possible. Because a lot of guys, including Tariq Skubal, did not pitch because he wants to make sure that he is available for this regular season because this regular season is going to determine what his next payday looks like.
Yeah, I feel like that was a big factor. If they had Skubal on the active and ready to pitch.
He was pitching in the championship game had he been ready.
Yeah.
Like they knew this.
Now, what doesn't make sense to me, right, is you're not pitching in the championship game, right? He was in the dugout. Not only was he in the dugout, he showed up wearing the Team USA hockey jersey.
Yep.
If he did all of that,
why would he not pitch? Listen,
I get he wasn't on the roster.
He said that he wanted to be there to support the team, but
the best way he could have supported that team was getting out on that mound and giving them 3 innings.
Yeah, trust me. Like I said, I don't understand it either. But it's because of contractual agreement.
I can guarantee you. I know exactly. You told them you should not pitch in the championship game.
The Detroit Tigers front office.
Scott Boras.
Well, probably Scott Boras too. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was his agent and the Tigers organization saying, listen, you're not pitching because if you get hurt, you were screwed. It's also the sake of, I heard that the Team US was trying to recruit another pitcher after Skubal was, ruling himself out, and they called up Dylan Cease and Garrett Crochet and a couple other names, and none of them pitched.
You know who was supposed to pitch in the championship game and take Clayton Kershaw's spot on the roster?
Who?
Joe Ryan.
I heard Joe Ryan refused. He said that he opted out and didn't want to play.
No, Joe Ryan was supposed to be on the roster, but he got hurt.
Yeah, well,
he got hurt.
Yeah,
and then they asked him, "Do you want to come back and pitch?"
And he said no.
No, I thought he said yes.
No, he said no.
Oh.
Well, it's because he doesn't want to get even more injured. But this is my point: is you are going to lose valuable star players. And because they're afraid to get injured before the regular season where they can make their money.
They should have asked Max Fried.
There's a lot of people that they could have asked. And it's not, again, I love Nolan McLean. I think he's got a very bright future with not only the Mets organization, but just as an MLB ball player and pitcher. I think that he's going to be very, very efficient. But he just was not made for the bright lights at this early in his career.
I think they could have found somebody better.
Yeah, I do too.
Why didn't they, in the 9th inning, why didn't they throw in Logan Webb? Was Logan Webb also unusable?
I don't know. But again, this is my point, is like they just did not trot out the best roster. Now, I know DeRosa can only do so much, but again, with the roster that he had, I still feel like he kind of dropped the ball a little bit too. And then finally, you already mentioned it, but I'm just going to say it real quick too. Seeing Venezuela win the games that they did to win the tournament, it's not, by me saying the United States didn't put their best lineup on the field, is not a knock to them at all.
No,
Venezuela deserved
I feel like Venezuela was a very underrated team.
100%. I underrated them too.
And then when they showed the lineup on the broadcast, I looked at the lineup and I'm like, this is actually a really good team.
Yeah, they got a good roster. They have a very good roster, and I'm not even going to lie.
Going into the game, the only player I thought that was going to do well
was Acuna.
Only player that I knew was Acuna. Aside from Acuna, I knew Wilyer Abreu, but that's because I'm a Yankees fan and I see him 8 times a year.
Yeah,
I knew of Maikel Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that Gino was on the team.
Yeah. I didn't know, but my point exactly is I underestimated them. And then seeing them beat Japan, I was like, okay, maybe Japan just choked. Everybody's got a bad game every once in a while. They didn't play their best. It happens. And then they come out and they beat Team Italy. And everyone's like, Italy wasn't even really supposed to be there. It was kind of a fluke run. So they were due to lose a game. They really shouldn't have been in the semifinals anyway. Some people said that Italy didn't even deserve to make the final. And then Venezuela, the minute that I saw them facing the U.S., I said the U.S. is going to be too overpowering. They still got one of the best rosters. They were favorites, or not, the high favorites, but one of the favorites to win the whole thing before it started. Yeah. So I was like, there's no way Venezuela wins. And sure enough, they proved me wrong in all 3 games. And like I said, they were very well deserving. So it's not a knock that I think that the U.S. didn't really have their best stuff or even play their best players. But you know what? At the end of the day, Venezuela's run is one of the more impressive runs I've seen, beating the teams that they did in the fashion that they beat them. So good for Team Venezuela. Very happy for them. Glad that they got their win. Sucks that the United States lost. But again, there's going to be another World Baseball Classic.
They had a well-rounded team.
Yeah, and that was their first WBC title that they've ever had. So,
yeah.
Hats off to them. They definitely deserve the credit for sure. Hopefully, it should change in the next couple of years. I'm excited to see what happens with the future of the World Baseball Classic.
I think next year there's not going to be the World Baseball Classic, but there's going to be the same kind of atmosphere because they're going to all be participating in the
Olympics. And there should be more teams, too.
Hopefully the MLB, if there's this big if on this, if there's a season, they do what the NHL did, and they do a pause in the middle of the season. A lot of players have came out and said, if there's a season next year, I want there to be a pause for the season so we can go play and represent our country.
Yeah, I would love to see that too. Like I said, hockey with the Four Nations face-off really kicked it off the right way. It was way more entertaining than any All-Star games that I've watched, or even the crappy skills competitions that they used to do. Now, some of them are cool, but some of them are just like, what are we doing? And even the All-Star game, none of those dudes were trying. But the Four Nations face-off, those dudes tried. And obviously during the Olympics, that was awesome.
Wasn't there like 2 or 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the USA and Canada game?
Yes, the first USA-Canada game, there were 3 fights in the first, couple seconds of the game. 9 seconds. It was nuts. But again, that's the type of energy that you want to see from teams like that, especially from professional athletes. So hopefully they kind of take that into consideration.
If there is MLB players in the Olympics for Team USA, I hope Mark DeRosa is not the manager.
No, I hope not either. I heard a lot of people saying, especially before the whole thing started, DeRosa's such a good head coach, blah, blah, blah,
He's an MLB analyst.
Manager.
There's a reason why he works for MLB Network as an analyst, and he's not a manager of a team.
Tell him to stick to the booth, please. It's just, no.
The only reason why he got a second shot at being manager is because now baseball runs on analytics.
Yeah.
And it's ruining the game.
Yeah, it is. But hopefully we don't have to see that again. We'll go on to the NBA now really quick. Just one good thing, one bad thing that we've saw from the past week. Bad news, the Detroit Pistons superstar Cade Cunningham is set to miss an extended period of time after having a collapsed lung in the game after diving for a loose ball on Tuesday night against the Washington Wizards. Originally, they thought it was back spasms. They did pull him from the game. Very, very shocking. And he's been a superstar this year, averaging 24.5 points, 9.9 assists per game. So he's basically averaging himself a double-double every game, which is second in the NBA right now. The guy has been the most crucial piece to why the Detroit Pistons are ranked where they are ranked at this point. So him missing some time, I know that Shams Charania has already come out and reported on it, saying that it looks like a mild case, so that they are going to revisit the injury and scan him and check and make sure if everything is okay after 2 weeks. So they're going to see what happens. It may not be as long, but this does have the potential to cause him to miss some time, most likely the rest of the regular season, and they're hoping that he could be back for the playoffs. Even as someone who's not a Pistons fan, it sucks to see something like this because we saw something similar with Tatum. I know we've talked about it as
Tatum is has to be the fastest player ever to recover from a torn Achilles in any sport.
No.
Kobe
Bryant.
But
I think Kobe did it in a shorter period of time, but it was very close. But I think that there's others that have come back from it too. Cam Akers came back from it in 7 months when he tore his Achilles with the Rams. So, I mean, it's up there. But still,
Tatum is a wannabe Kobe, so that does make sense.
Okay, easy. But anyway, what we were kind of going into is, I know that we talked about it before on prior episodes, that when Tatum got hurt, even as someone who's not a Celtics fan, it's like, you never want to see a star player go out at a time like that with the injury that they had. So I'm hoping Cunningham doesn't miss time because the Pistons have been extremely fun to watch. even as someone, like I said, I'm not a Pistons fan, but sitting back and watching them, it's been great. They're very talented.
He's a necessity for them to have in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, 100%. In any round of the playoffs, you need Cade Cunningham. You need him.
You have one thing of good news, but I want to touch upon something that happened last night, which was kind of impressive. You saw Luka Doncic drop 60 points.
Yeah.
Against the Heat.
Yeah. Luka's on fire, and I know the Lakers are on fire right now too.
I know, and Bam came out and said, "You see, it's not easy to drop 80." He goes, Luka put up 60. He goes, that's still respectable.
Oh, yeah. Well, Luka is in 3 words, freak of nature. That dude is a walking bucket.
He dropped 60, especially with everything that he has going on right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
His personal life.
Which everyone loves to throw that right into the mix with the world of social media that we got now.
Exactly. But he shot 18 for 30, 9 for 17 on three-point attempts.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's almost...
And 15 for 19
on
free throws.
Damn, that's above 50%, because 9 to 18 is 50, so he's shooting like 52, 50.
He had 7 rebounds,
wow.
3 assists, only 2 turnovers, and he had 5 steals.
Yeah. Wow, that's a hell of a stat line. I know LeBron played fairly well last night in the past couple games. If I'm not mistaken...
2 nights ago, he played very well.
Are the Lakers on an 8-game win streak?
They are on an 8-game win streak.
They're on fire. They are starting to rise up the Western Conference rankings.
They're heating up at the right time.
Yes, they are. And I know a lot of people were a little concerned, saying that they weren't sure how far they would go with, LeBron aging, Luka being the one and the Lord and Savior, and then Austin Reeves missing a little bit of time at some point. So I don't know what happened.
2 nights ago, LeBron dropped 30 points.
I know. I knew that.
He was 13 for 14 for field goal attempts.
Wow.
2 for 2 on 3 points. 2 for 3 on free throws. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 offensive rebound.
Wow.
And 4 defensive rebounds.
Wow. That's a pretty... Yeah, I knew... Like I said, I knew he played well. I didn't know it was 13 of 14 shooting is absurd.
At 40...
Yeah.
41?
No, he's not 41. But he's damn close. He's close. He's very close. I thought he was like 39. He's going to be 40.
No.
Or he may have just turned 40.
He's 41.
Oh. Well, you know what? Even more impressive. 41 years old, dropping buckets. Yeah, but LeBron's LeBron.
Not only buckets.
Well, LeBron is LeBron. This man defies age at this point. I don't know how... Like, the NBA is... I don't get it. 41 years old, dropping 30 and almost getting yourself a double-double and all that. It's just like, dude.
Not only a double-double, almost shooting 100% from the field.
That's just...
He missed wild. 1 free throw. If he made the
you mean 1 field goal?
No.
You said 13 to 14.
Yeah, he was 2 for 3 for free throws.
Oh, so he missed 2 shots. He missed 1 field goal attempt and 1 free throw.
Yeah.
Still, he almost shot 100%. Was wild. That's wild.
He missed 1 shot.
Yeah, that's crazy. But even so, like you kind of just said, Lakers are riding an 8-game win streak. The other good one that I had.
Same game, Luka dropped 40.
Yeah, that's what I said. Is they went crazy the other night too. But not just that,
you double that game.
Yeah,
almost a triple-double.
Yes, he did. And I'm telling you, they're heating up at the right time. Now they sit on an 8-game win streak.
He had 9 defensive rebounds. Damn.
Yeah. Like I said, I remembered saying that or seeing it. I was like, they went nuts in that game. So another team that I'm going to bring up really quick is the Atlanta Hawks. Where the hell did they come from? They were 27-31 a couple weeks ago, and now they're riding an 11-game win streak. They are tied for 7th place in the Eastern Conference and sit half game back from 6th place in the Eastern Conference. Before, they looked like they were going to be a play-in team with a chance to not even make the playoffs. Now, they're looking like they're going to end up making the playoffs as the 6th seed if they keep going the way that they're going.
Yeah,
and
I don't think Golden State utilized
Jonathan Kuminga at all.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
I mean, obviously, that shot that he made the other night, which was supposed to be a pass, and it went in from like full court.
It was like 3/4 of the.
Yeah, that's just luck, but still, he's been a dynamic piece for them, scoring off the bench. That's something I don't know why Golden State did not utilize them at all. But then you have guys like Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been really good, Dyson Daniels with his defensive play, Onyeka Okongwu has also been very, very good defensively and can also help score and facilitate with the ball. I mean, you've seen a complete resurgence of Atlanta after Trae Young leaves and gets traded. But this Atlanta Hawks team, I did not see that coming at all. I know we talked about Charlotte a couple weeks ago and how they were on an impressive run. And here comes Atlanta, and they're on a super impressive run. They are, I believe it's the Miami Heat are tied with them for the 7 seed. And if I'm not mistaken, the Orlando Magic have the 6. But they are a half game back from the 6th seed. If they win and Orlando loses, Atlanta is the 6th seed. To think that they would even be in this spot at this point of the year, what a run that they've gone on. Another team that is heated up at the very perfect time, and they are definitely going to be making a push towards a run in the playoffs.
Now,
I don't know how
before we
it'll
move to hockey, yesterday or 2 days ago, the tournament started.
Oh, March Madness.
March Madness.
Yes.
I'm going to speak upon one game that happened yesterday, and then we're going to just quickly bring upon that UConn plays tonight at 10 p.m.
Yep.
And that they should be good.
They should be good, and they
should be advancing to the next round.
Well, they have struggled a little bit in the past couple weeks, especially, losing to Marquette and then losing pretty badly to St. John's was not pretty, but I think that they should be okay. But it's called March Madness for a reason.
One game I do want to talk about was the 11 seed VCU Rams playing the 6 seed North Carolina Tar Heels.
And I took VCU in that game in my bracket.
I didn't do a bracket this year.
I did a bracket this year. There were 2 snipes that I had. 2. I mean, I still didn't do. I think I picked 12 of 16, correct? Which isn't bad.
I put money on Texas over BYU.
Yeah, see, I took BYU. That was one of the ones that I was like, man.
I linked my ESPN account.
And then Duke almost losing to 16 seed Siena College.
Yeah. Oh, also, Michigan struggled in the first half too.
Yeah, against who was it? Howard University. I think. I was like,
did Gonzaga win last night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Gonzaga won last night over Kennesaw State.
I know Kennesaw State was keeping it close for a while.
Yeah, they did for a little bit. But going back, you said something about VCU versus UNC
versus North Carolina. Yeah. Terrence Hill felt himself. He just the first half of the NCAA first round game, he just wasn't himself. He made a step back 3-pointer with 15 seconds left in overtime, and the 11 seed VCU erased a 19-point deficit.
At the half, I think, or after the half.
It was 14 minutes and 58 seconds, and North Carolina was up by 19.
Yep.
And they lost in overtime.
Dude, like I said, VCU was crazy. The other one, which I'm surprised you didn't mention, was High Point University beating Wisconsin, which that was the other snipe I had. I took High Point over Wisconsin in my bracket.
I didn't watch all the games yesterday.
Oh, I was watching almost every single one. I had to. I love watching March Madness. I'm not even really a big college basketball guy.
No, I'm not a big college basketball guy either, but when March Madness is on, I have to watch.
Oh, it's electric.
March Madness.
It's electric. It's been awesome. I'm excited for all the games today,
I know
too.
If the men's team for UConn makes a run and makes the natty, I'm going up to Stores to watch the game.
They're not going to be playing
No, they're not going to be playing at Stores.
Oh, well, you'll be at, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But
I have friends that go there.
To be honest, I think if I'm not mistaken, I have St. John's facing UConn in the Elite 8, and I have St. John's winning and going to the final, and I have Arizona winning the whole thing. Because Arizona is wild.
Arizona's wild, but,
Hey, they call it March Madness for a
don't
reason.
underestimate Long Island University.
Listen, LIU.
If
Arizona loses to LIU and my bracket gets busted that way, I'm out. I'm out. Because we put money on it. So I will not be happy. This is just, no, please, Arizona, I beg you, okay? I'm trying to win a little bit of money. So we'll see. But, yeah, no, the other one, like I said, is High Point versus Wisconsin. That game was nuts, too.
What other game was nuts, which was an 8-seed, 9-seed game, was
Ohio State TCU?
No.
That was
SLU in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. St. Louis University, yeah. I took St. Louis.
Georgia, they were down 17 at the half.
Yeah.
And then with 15 minutes left in the second half, they were down by like 33.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I took St. Louis. I know that they had a very good record this year, and they've been very competitive.
Well, it was 8 seed, 9 seed, so that was expected.
Well, it was kind of expected to be, but not like the way that it played out. I mean, there were a couple games that I figured, there's going to be an upset brewing, and it just didn't work. Like I took South Florida over Louisville because Louisville had its moments of struggling, and South Florida was okay. That one busted it. Obviously, BYU, I thought with A.J. DeBonsa that they were going to make a nice run, and obviously Texas shut that down really quick.
Yeah, that was an upset right there.
I believe it was St. Mary's losing to Texas A&M yesterday. I had St. Mary's winning, and Texas A&M ended up beating them, which was another one. And then there was one other one that I'm completely forgetting who it was, and I was just like, why would I take that? And it ended up not working. But
was it let me see. I have all of them right here.
I don't remember who it was.
Was it?
I'd have to pull my bracket up. I could try to remember.
It wasn't.
Off the top of my head. But
Arkansas.
No, I took Arkansas.
Was it Vanderbilt?
Nope, I took Vanderbilt over McNeese.
It wasn't. Not Nebraska. You probably took Nebraska.
Yep, I took Nebraska over Troy.
Was it NDSU against MSU?
No, I took Michigan State.
Then it had to be. It wasn't Penn over Illinois, was it?
No, I took Illinois.
Idaho over Houston.
Nope, I took Houston.
And then
I got 4 wrong. I know that for a fact. Oh, it was Ohio State and TCU. I took Ohio State.
Oh, that must have been.
And TCU, and that was the first game of the tournament. And TCU won. Ohio State was losing the entire game and then came back and made it close, took the lead, and then TCU had a nice little run at the end and ended up beating them by, what was it, 66-64 was the final.
Yeah.
I mean, these tournaments, no one's ever going to predict a correct bracket. Like, I didn't expect to be perfect, but 12-16 is not bad. A couple snipes in there I felt pretty good about, so I'll take it. My bracket's probably going to get even more busted today. I just hope that it's not Arizona because at least, if you pick the correct winner, you do get a little something. So we'll see. But, yeah, obviously, I'm glad you brought up March Madness because I didn't put that. But
you didn't put that, but I just
because it's just so much to keep. Like, we could sit here for an hour and talk about every single game that we watched. It's like, so I figured that would take a while.
Bama plays today.
They ain't going to last long. They just lost their second best player to a
drug charge.
To a felony charge on drugs, on marijuana, because he had over 2 pounds in his apartment.
Oh, his apartment?
Or whatever, car, apartment. Regardless, he had over 2 pounds. So, who do they play? Hofstra? They'll probably beat Hofstra, and then next round they're going to lose.
Yeah, they do play Hofstra.
Yeah, and then they're probably going to lose. So, I don't even want to talk about that. Anyway, we'll kind of go into
what are other good games for.
Well, actually, if you got to, what other big games are there? Actually,
there's Purdue versus. I don't know.
But Purdue's playing who?
QUC. I don't even know what the college is. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna click on it. It's Purdue versus Queens University. I don't even know where that is.
I don't even know where that is either.
And then UConn plays. Who is UConn? UConn's probably gonna win this game. They play Furman.
Yeah, they play Furman.
Yeah. Furman Paladins. I'm just going to say that. Kansas should beat CBU.
Maybe. Yeah, Kansas should be.
Miami is playing, Missouri. Is it Missouri?
I think Clemson. No, they play. Who plays Clemson today?
I don't know. This should be a good game. Miami versus Missouri should be a good game.
Yeah. I know Clemson plays. I forget who they're playing. Iowa. Yeah. That should be a good game, too.
UCLA, UCF should be good.
Yep. That should be a good one. Like I said, there's a whole bunch. Is 16 games on tap for today?
There's a lot, yeah.
I think it's 16 because they played 16 yesterday and 16 today. So it'll be exciting.
Villanova, USU.
I took USU over Villanova. Villanova to get upset in first round because they have not really looked that great over the past couple games. So
Akron Zips are playing.
Watch out for
Texas
Akron.
Tech Raiders.
Hey. But I have a buddy of mine that who I think he said jokingly, I don't know if he said he put him in the Elite 8 or the Final 4. I was like, all right. He said don't sleep on him, so I won't sleep on him. But yeah, no, we'll go into just hockey really quick. I'm not going to touch on it too much, but just something I want to bring up because as a guy that's wearing the Rangers hoodie, I got to say something about him. So I know before I get into this, they've won 5 of their last 10. So they've lost 5, won 5. I mean, it's better than what we would have expected over the past couple of weeks with the way that the team has played. But there's something positive to pull from this, and that is the new first-line combo that the Rangers have started running with Gabe Perreault, Alexis Lafreniere, and Mika Zibanejad as their first line. They've been awesome over the past 10 games. A couple stats just to pull up really quick. So the Rangers did have a 4-game win streak during that span. They've kind of struggled over the last couple games. You know, the competition got a little bit stiffer towards the back end of it. But Zibanejad's got 5 goals and 8 assists, tallying 13 total points in those 10 games. You see Gabe Perreault with 4 goals, 8 assists with 12 points total. And then Alexis Lafreniere has 7 goals, 7 assists in those 10 games with a total of 14 points. Something to keep in mind. A lot of people had been saying that Alexis Lafreniere was, in quote, a bust. Now, I was definitely leaning that direction, but something changed. I didn't want to give up on him too early because I know the Rangers love to do that, where they give up on people early. That's the typical Rangers thing. But I have noticed that since Artemi Panarin was traded from the Rangers, Lafreniere looks like a completely different player. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. I definitely did. He looks more poised. He feels more confident in his game. He's able to control the puck and be the distributor that he once was when he played in, his prior years before being drafted into the NHL. He looked like the number 1 pick that everyone thought he was going to be. And a lot of people were concerned, including myself. I wouldn't say ready to give up, but I was like, he didn't look as good. Then he had his good run against the Florida Panthers and, in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2023-24. He looked really good, and it showed a spark. And the Rangers said, you know what, we're going to give him a contract extension. They gave him a 7-year, $7.5 per year. So I think it came out to like $51.25 million for his contract. And I was like, he definitely deserved it after the way he played and then had a very, very rough year following. But even to start this year, started a little slow. People were starting to get on his case. And the minute that Panarin was traded, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Panarin was just too controlling on the line because he was the superstar player and Lafreniere felt handcuffed. But Lafreniere over the past couple of weeks, I mean, completely different player. The guy's been an absolute animal. If I'm not mistaken, he won like the NHL Player of the Week. They have the 3 stars of the week. He won the first star of the week last week. I mean, the guy's been on another level, and I really like this first line, especially since it's 2 guys that are very young. One is 23, one is, I believe, 21. So if Zibanejad can keep his resurgence going because he's revitalized his career and you continue to develop Lafreniere and Perreault the way that they are, that is the one bright spot that this Rangers organization has had. I just wanted to touch on that really quick. I know that it's something that I've been dying to talk about because they've been awesome to watch. That's the only reason why I've even watched the team play. But, at least it gives us a little bit of hope for the future. There's still a lot that needs to be fixed. I mean, they still sit 29th in the NHL. So still not pretty, but at least that gives us a little bit something to be happy about. Just had to bring that up. But to kind of close out the show here, we're going to talk about the 5 most, I would say, the most important or like big moves that happened in the NFL over the last week. Obviously, we saw that free agency started on March 9th. It has been absolutely crazy since that point. It started to slow down a little bit since the beginning of it, but you still have some moves that have started to take place as well. We're going to start out with the first one. Kind of surprising. L'Jarius Sneed, cornerback of the Tennessee Titans, was released.
Yeah. A few years ago, he was a first-team All-Pro.
Yeah.
I feel like the Titans didn't even give up that much to get him in the first place.
No, but they gave him a pretty big contract after they did trade for him.
They did give him a pretty good contract after they did trade for him.
And
a common theme with the Titans, which I don't know if, speaking on the Titans, I'm going to bring something else up about that afterwards. Okay. But
that works.
Speaking, like, a common theme with the Titans is great players go there, and then they just don't play good.
Unlike Derrick Henry.
But, like, cornerback-wise, L'Jarius Sneed went there in the prime of his career.
And it's just been injuries.
It's just been injuries, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy. I feel like if I'm any team, doesn't matter what team you are, you give him a 1-year prove-it deal.
Yeah.
You take a flyer on a guy like that.
Well, I saw that a lot of people were, including the Scarlatta twins. I know you follow them because you're a big New York guy. They were reaching out saying that they wanted the Giants to call him and try and add him to the roster. I know that I've seen Ram fans online saying that we should try and go after him.
If the Giants can get
Who, Sneed?
Yeah, L'Jarius Sneed. If the Giants can get Sneed, that would be...
Wow, you had a brain fart there.
I did have a brain fart, yeah.
He would be a great addition, but I think from what we could see, it's a little bit of a concern when you've only played 12 games in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And I think they said that when they voided or released him, it saves the Titans $11.4 million in cap space, which I mean is great for them.
There's still going to be a lot of dead money.
There's still going to be some dead money for sure.
Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up about the Titans was their newly signed wide receiver one, Wan'Dale Robinson, as of right now, he's the best wide receiver on the team. Who's better than Chamari DK?
Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, but he's washed.
Hey, you say that now.
He is.
Just wait. They're going to draft somebody, too. I have a draft a receiver.
He went out on a podcast and said he's looking forward to playing with Cam Ward and playing with an actual quarterback who is good.
After
putting up his best season with having over 1,000 yards behind a rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart.
He's got an actual quarterback now. I saw that. I was talking with other Giant fans at work about that.
You just put up your best season in New York with a rookie quarterback.
Oh, my God.
A rookie quarterback.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was...
the second quarterback, I believe, taken in that draft class.
Listen, I don't even know what to say. I was laughing so hard when I saw that.
What are you doing? Jackson Dart saying he's not an actual quarterback is bad. That is very, very, like, I'm not just saying that because of a bias. Like, you look at what he did with what the Giants had last year, and you're looking at Jackson Dart's stats, and you're like, those aren't that bad.
Brother, listen.
Cam Ward's were worse than Dart's.
I know. I don't know. I was very shocked by it, too. Like I said, I was talking with other Giant fans. That was so out of pocket.
It was so out of pocket. Jackson Dart had a better rookie season than Cam Ward did.
I'm not going to
argue
that.
He played less games.
Yeah, no.
He also missed a few games.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was very surprised by that as well, too. Not the smartest comment to make. I thought Jackson Dart was the better of the two last year anyway. Now, granted, I think Cam Ward's ceiling may be higher. Maybe. But obviously, there's still a lot of time to tell, and we got to see what happens. Because who knows? Maybe Cam Ward has an even worse season next year. The sophomore slump. No one knows. Jackson Dart may do the same thing, too. Nobody has an idea.
But I feel like...
I think that there's a shot that both are still going to be good players. I was just very surprised by the comment.
Throwing shade at Dart after him being a nominee for Offensive Rookie of the Year is kind of crazy.
I don't know. I think the whole thing is dumb. But again, that's
probably
the reason why he's probably a little bitter.
I wasn't even going to mention that until you said something about the Titans. So.
He's probably...
I just had to get that off my chest.
To be honest, I think he's just bitter that the Giants didn't sign him back. And they said, you know what, you can go to Tennessee. Now he's got to go back with Brian Daboll. So we'll see what happens.
He likes Daboll, though. So
well, clearly, he said Jackson Dart ain't a real quarterback. Now, another one that's in division, well, not in the Titans division, but in the Giants division, the Eagles re-signed tight end Dallas Goedert to a $7 million deal for 1 year, $4.25 million as a guaranteed signing bonus. I think that this is a big one for Philadelphia. I know that we've talked about them before and their struggles in the past season with their offense. They are going to have a new offensive coordinator. They are going to have some new pieces. And this is also kind of going on while there's still massive rumors about A.J. Brown being traded.
Speaking of that, I was going to say something because I saw something yesterday.
Oh, what are you talking about? The Patriots?
Yeah, this is a speculation or a rumor. Speculation that the Pats and the Eagles already have an agreement post June 1st to send A.J. Brown to New England. Reports are this is just a speculation, but Howie Roseman wanted to get picks in this year's drafts for him, and that was just not going to happen.
Yeah. I think that's major speculation. Now, does he get moved? Chances are I'd probably say that.
I'd say it's a 75-25 if he gets moved or not.
I'd say it's probably a little bit lower than that. I'd say it's 60-40 yes. I'd say 60% yes, 40% no. Because I think that the Eagles do want to keep him. I think that their offense is still talented.
65-35.
Yeah, it's about fair. But yeah, no, I think that the Eagles definitely still want to keep him around. But yeah, at least for Dallas Goedert's sake.
I just think that wherever he goes and he's not the clear-cut number one,
it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be an issue.
That's why when I was seeing reports that the Rams were making calls, I'm going, no, please, no, please, no, please, no, please, no. I do not want a 30-something-year-old wide receiver who, no offense, A.J. Brown, if you see this, but I do not want a receiver that's going to cry about his production, especially with a room that he would have to share with Nakua. And even though they were saying Devontae Adams is included, we know that ain't happening. Devontae Adams, he's not going to be the number one option if he goes to the Rams. So it's not going to happen.
What I also don't understand, right? You had just won a Super Bowl the year prior, and you weren't complaining about your production. I get you hired you made a bad hire at offensive coordinator.
Very bad.
But still.
Trust me.
But still, you had just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yeah, but you know what? He's done this for a lot of his career, too. He wasn't happy with his time in Tennessee, saying that he wasn't getting the ball enough, and then he left Tennessee, and he goes to Philadelphia. He gets himself a Super Bowl. Then he starts complaining that he's not getting the production there again. It's just not worth it, man. If I'm the Rams, like I said, I would not even show any interest.
Even when there was like speculation that the Giants were going to make a call because of the whole dart.
He's going to ruin the chemistry anywhere he goes. It's just not worth it. Let him stay in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Or if he wants to go to New England and be the clear-cut number one now that Stephon Diggs is not there, by all means, but please no to the Rams. But the thing is, at least with Dallas Goedert's sake, they do save $20 million of a cap hit if his contract was to have been voided instead. So they did not have to do that. So they are saving a little bit of money. He did finish with just under 600 yards receiving on 60 catches last year.
Who is the primarily number one tight end for that team? Was it Goedert or was it Calcaterra?
Goedert, 100%. Goedert has been the established number one tight end for them for a while. At least the last 9 years he's been there. So he's definitely been a very important piece of that offense. I had him in fantasy football last year. He was actually very good for me too. So I can understand why the Eagles made this move. It was smart. Speaking of moves that I thought that would be understand to be made, this one made no sense.
When I saw this, I was like, wait, what?
Justin Fields traded from the Jets to the Kansas City Chiefs. What in the hell's going on?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Do they think that Fields is going to just sit behind Mahomes and develop and revitalize his career kind of like a Sam Darnold did and Daniel Jones did and some of these other guys? I mean,
I don't know. It just it feels kind of off, right? There's no guarantee Mahomes goes out and starts the season.
No. I know why that's why they got Fields with Minshew having his
but I feel like
hurt.
I feel like there's another quarterback that they could have went after that was probably younger than Fields.
I don't know about you. Yeah, well, there is one in a trade.
In a trade with another team in the AFC.
Anthony Richardson.
Yes. I feel like that would have been a better fit for Kansas City than...
I thought that would have been a much better fit for Kansas City. I don't understand why the move was made. Now, I mean, I don't really have to touch on Fields' history that much, but just in case...
There isn't much to touch upon. He had one season with the Bears, and he rushed for 1,000 yards, and everyone thought he was going to be the next Lamar.
Hold on. I wasn't saying that it was good career stats, but just the sake of it, he's the third quarterback ever to rush for 1,000 yards in a single season. He holds the single-game record for most rushing yards by a quarterback. That's about it.
Quarterback.
That's about it. So when I saw that trade, I don't know which trade is worse. The Jets bringing back Geno Smith or them trading Justin Fields to the Chiefs. I don't know which move is worse. Both of those are terrible.
So they're really dead set on Geno Smith being their starting quarterback.
Yes, they are.
Watch them give up a third for Anthony Richardson. If the Jets wind up doing something stupid to get Anthony Richardson, I would just come on here and I would laugh.
I think that they're going to draft a
I would
quarterback.
look into the camera and say, if you're a Jets fan,
I'm telling you, they're drafting a quarterback. It's going to happen.
They're gonna wind up with Carson Beck.
They are going to, dude. If they get Carson Beck, I'm going to cry laughing, because you know what? We'll save that. Let's keep that in the vault. Let's keep it in the vault.
Why would you be crying laughing?
That's just bad. That's just bad. That may be the ugliest quarterback room I've ever seen in my life, with Geno Smith and Carson Beck. Good Lord. That may be one of the worst quarterback rooms in the history of history. Good God. Yeah, no. So I don't understand why that move was made at all.
Even worse than Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito.
Hey, don't sleep on Tommy Cutlets. And Drew Lock, that man, he could do it. Yeah, he got it. Don't worry. Yeah, I just couldn't believe that move. But we're going to go into a move that was, I think, the biggest one of the week, and that is the Dolphins trading away Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, to the Denver Broncos. Now, obviously, we saw them trade not only Jalen Waddle, but a 4th-round pick as well, but they receive a 3rd-round pick and a 4th-round pick. And I think it's fairly clear to say.
I thought they got the Broncos' 1st-round pick for this year, too.
No. Oh, no, sorry. I didn't even say that. They get the Broncos' 1st-round pick, which is pick number 30, a 3rd-rounder, and a 4th-rounder. Correct. You are correct.
Yeah, I knew they got more than a 3rd and a 4th.
Yeah, they got more. But I think it's very clear to say the Dolphins are in full rebuild mode. And
now, we spoke about this earlier, and I'm speaking about it again. They have had several teams make a call about being interested in Devon Achane. And I think by them telling those teams that he's untouchable is stupid. If you're going into a full rebuild mode, I get Achane is young, he's going into his 3rd NFL season. Running back is the easiest position to replace in the NFL.
Yeah.
If his value is as high as it is right now because he had the season he had last year, I think he was RB2 or 3 in fantasy. He had a monster year last year. There's no guarantee he goes out this year and does it again.
Well,
he could go out and get hurt, which I don't want that to happen. I don't wish anybody were to get hurt. But let me finish speaking, please.
I know.
If you can get not a 1st, but maybe like a 2nd or a 3rd and some other later round picks for a running back of that caliber for a team that could actually use him in this year's draft, not next year's draft. By the time maybe next year, his price may be lower than it is right now. Right now, it's at its peak.
I don't know if it's the right thing to do anyway, though. I get why you would want to move off of a guy like him. I don't see it. I can understand why they rule him as untouchable.
I can see it right now. They're gonna give him a workload that he can't handle, and he's gonna get hurt next year. It's bound to, unless they take a receiver in the draft.
Well, the other thing is his contract expires. He's going into his 3rd year, which means that the following year his contract expires anyway. So if they're going to go through a rebuild, you might as well just utilize him now, because there's no chance he's probably not going to stay there anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade him mid-season next year. They let his value go up a little bit more and then say, hey, listen, he's on his way out the door. So
I'm telling you what's going to happen is he's either going to go play phenomenal like he did last year for half the season, he's going to get traded. Or B, if they don't take a receiver in the draft, which they probably won't because Miami's not smart. No offense to any Dolphins fans. They're going to give him a workload that he can't handle because they're giving him the ball too much.
Yeah.
And he's going to wind up getting hurt.
Well,
and then his value is going to drop. And what I'm talking about is don't take this out of context of don't take this out of context of me thinking or saying or hoping Devon Achane gets hurt. He was the reason why I made it to the fantasy playoffs last year, and then I lost in the first week because I didn't play Kyle Pitts against the Bucs. Let's not talk about that. What was I saying? There's notes if a running back were to get hurt, right? And I know McCaffrey is. I don't know. Did he come back from a torn ACL or Achilles?
Meniscus or something.
McCaffrey came back from a torn something, and at first, he wasn't really the same at first. Saquon came back from a torn ACL, wasn't the same the year after, the 2 years. Like,
it's rare.
It's rare. The only player I've ever seen come back from a recovery from a torn ACL is Adrian Peterson.
Yep.
He came back and he won league MVP the next year.
Yeah.
But if you're the Dolphins and you are having teams call about your running back, you have Jalen Wright in the backfield. You have Ollie Gordon as a third-string running back. You have solid running backs behind Devon Achane. It's not like you're giving away Achane, getting picks in return, and you're having bums in the backfield.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Jalen Wright is serviceable. Ollie Gordon was great in college.
Yeah. No, it's just, like I said, I think they look at it as if Malik Willis pans out and they can draft a decent receiver that they may actually be better than a lot of people think. I think that they don't look at it as a full rebuild. I think that they look at it more as kind of what the hockey standing, like I said, they are going through a retool, which means that they have a bunch of pieces they already like. They just need a couple more to really help them start to see what direction they're going.
No, I think they're going full. I think they have to.
I think they have to.
I think they have to go full rebuild because their defense is terrible.
Well, I agree. I think that I think they don't think of it like that. We do.
They should.
They should, 100%. I don't think they will.
They cut Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
but Tyreek Hill getting cut was like a no-brainer. They traded Jalen Waddle.
That was the kind of like the, wow, I'm kind of surprised.
What? They wouldn't trade him mid-season.
No. However, we talked about a lot of the Dolphins with it. The Broncos, I thought that was a great move for them.
That's a great move for the Broncos. Now their receiving core is
Jalen Waddle, Cortland Sutton,
and Marvin Mims.
Yeah. And they were I'm not going to say a quarterback away because they were a Bo Nix not getting injured away from a Super Bowl game with a chance to win.
I agree. I'm saying this right now. I think Seahawks Broncos would have been a better Super Bowl than Seahawks Patriots.
Hands down. This is one thing that I see a lot of analysts bring up.
And I would have been saying Broncos country, let's ride.
Well, of course, I would have too. But the one thing that I saw a lot of analysts talk about, and this is something that I think would have been huge during that Super Bowl, is the team that allowed the fewest sacks but also sacked the most quarterbacks was the Denver Broncos. The Broncos allowed the fewest sacks offensively all year and then led the league in sacks defensively. They would have given Seattle a run for their money. I think that there's a chance that they beat Seattle.
I've been looking at like the posts, the comment sections of everything after Waddle got traded, and some people either are just outright idiots.
That's probably
and don't know their what they're talking about, their history of Waddle and where he played in college, and are saying, I don't think that it's gonna pan out in Denver because Jalen Waddle and Pat Surtain hate each other. Jalen Waddle said he would beat Pat Surtain's ass. What they don't realize is Jalen Waddle and Pat Surtain are best friends, and they are joking around with each other when they were saying that.
It's also the same thing like Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson with them giving each other crap all the time.
I think Pat Surtain and Jalen Waddle, I don't know if it's Waddle's podcast. I think it's Surtain's, but Waddle's on there almost all the time.
So is Devonta Smith.
So is Devonta Smith.
Because they all played at Bama together.
They all played at Bama together. The only one who's not.
No, stop. Don't go there. No. Hey, he may be on the podcast in a couple of months.
Yeah, and he may be making an NFL comeback too.
He may be. I don't know. But
no, but what I'm saying is you got to realize is that it's just friendly banter. Like I said that. Somebody said that in a comment section. I'm like, dude, they're best friends. They both played together in college.
Yeah, listen, people just genuinely don't use their heads a lot of the time. We already know that.
But I just wanted to put that out there because by most people saying, I thought Jalen Waddle hated Pat Surtain.
No.
He said it in a joking manner.
Yeah. Well, people don't understand that.
No, they don't.
It's just,
but
it's just bad. But
I feel like
that's gonna be a good move for Denver.
I also do think it's gonna be I think it's a great move for Denver.
I think, to be honest, I would not be surprised to see Denver be the favorites to win.
Yeah,
the
I was about to
AFC
say
next
that.
year.
I was just about to say that. I feel like when Denver it kind of reminds me of another player that might have played with them at Bama when he was on Denver. They didn't have. I think they were a quarterback away, and like one or two defensive pieces away for them being a contender in Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah,
Jerry Jeudy was the second receiver or first string receiver over Cortland Sutton at Denver, and obviously it didn't pan out. And then he got traded to Cleveland, and
it still really didn't pan out.
well, I feel like OBJ said this the best. Cleveland is the spot where you trade wide receivers to die, like your careers go to die.
I think all the situations he's been in have been not
Jerry
great.
Jerry Judy's a great player.
Give him to the Rams and see what happens.
If I am any team, I am calling up Cleveland and saying, "What do you want for Jerry Jeudy?"
Why not New England? I think that New England would be a good spot for him too.
I saw rumors that the Giants were calling for him midseason last year.
They should. And well, they were also supposedly calling in for Jalen Waddle.
They
too,
did call for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
But Jerry Judy's another guy who is still on the younger side, because when you're a receiver, you can play longer than you can as
running back.
Yeah. And I feel like Jerry Jeudy, he still has a lot of upside because you really haven't seen him with a good quarterback. Who did he play with in Denver? Russell Wilson.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe Drew Lock.
Yeah.
And in
Cleveland.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, who is the funniest quarterback in the entire league.
Was it Joe Flacco there too?
No, it was Deshaun Watson.
Oh, forget it. Nope.
And not only to make matters worse, he was the wide receiver 2 behind Amari Cooper.
Which that did not work either. Yeah, he just needs to find himself a better situation.
But what I'm saying is now that Denver has, because they had Cortland Sutton at the time.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. Now I think that it's going to be, because you saw Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims and occasionally, I think it's Pat Bryant.
Yeah.
They were all great.
Yeah.
And they re-signed J.K. Dobbins. They have Bo Nix coming back.
I thought that they were going to do better with running back. It's not that J.K. Dobbins isn't it, but I thought that they were going to try and make an upgrade at running back too. I'm kind of surprised they did.
But I feel like Waddle will fit in perfectly in that offense.
I agree.
And they should be a team to watch. It should be a fun team to watch.
Like I said, I think they're the AFC favorites next year. But last thing we will touch on is another Eagles signing, which
I feel like the only other team that could give them a run for their money, only because they have the right OC. Next year could be the Chargers.
Maybe. Same division.
Yeah.
So,
but
maybe.
Other than the Chargers, maybe if DJ Moore pans out in Buffalo could be.
Buffalo will choke. The Eagles signed wide receiver Hollywood Brown. Obviously, we already touched on the Eagles thing with A.J. Brown possibly being moved. I see why they did this. Like I said, new coordinator. I feel like the one thing that they did lack a lot last year was the ability to stretch the field with the deep ball. I know Hollywood Brown is one of the faster receivers in the NFL, especially when he was at his peak. I feel like he's still very fast too, but they need the ability
You're
to
really making me want to say it right now.
What, that Jalen Hurts can't throw a deep ball?
Nope.
What?
That you said Hollywood Brown is the fastest receiver in the NFL.
Oh, no, I said he was one of the fastest receivers in the NFL. I didn't say he's the fastest. Xavier Worthy is the fastest receiver in the NFL.
No, you told me not to say it earlier.
Stop. That's not even... Okay. No.
He was one of the fastest receivers in the NFL. You cannot tell me...
Yeah, he was in his car, too.
You cannot tell me. Yeah, you said it. I didn't. You said it. I didn't.
I know. I said it. It was only a joke.
You can't tell me Henry Ruggs was not one of the fastest receivers in the NFL.
He was. It was a joke. We're just joking around. It's all good. But you see kind of where I'm going with it, though. Hollywood Brown is very fast. I feel like it helps them be able to stretch the field a little bit more. He was expected to be a number one option when he was in Baltimore. He was expected to be a number one option in Arizona. He was kind of expected to be like a 1 or 2.
No, I don't think he was expected to be a number one in Arizona because didn't they have D-Hop?
Yeah, but D-Hop was struggling with injuries a lot of the time too, so... especially at that point. I mean, it probably, like I said, 1 or 2. He was either the 1 or 2 option. And then Kansas City, very similar, just didn't really pan out as well as everyone thought it was going to, especially with Mahomes being able to deliver the deep ball really well.
I think what happened wasn't he involved in something happened before the season. It was either like I don't know if it was like an injury in practice.
Oh, yes.
Or if it was a car accident or something.
Yeah, no, he did have something that held him out.
And he missed the entire regular season, and he only played in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that was the year prior because they didn't make the playoffs this year.
That was the first year. That was the first year he was with Kansas City. Something like
maybe it was an injury.
I think he was in a car accident. Something happened with his lung.
You might be right, but yeah, no, he just never really panned out. Now, granted, that was a big thing, but it just never worked out the way that they wanted it to. I feel like the Eagles, especially depending on what happens with AJ Brown, need to kind of take a gamble and see if they can get another receiver to really help them because their receiver room is going to be very small.
Yeah, now that Jahan Dotson left.
Well, no, it's not that. It's Devontae Smith is very skinny.
He's 6 foot, right?
He's skinny. I mean, he's taller, but he's skinny.
Like 6 foot.
Well, but he's like 170 pounds.
Well, yeah, no, but for a receiver, 6 foot's pretty short.
It's pretty short. But then Hollywood Brown is short too.
Yeah.
And if AJ Brown leaves, how are you throwing a 50-50 ball?
Well, Devonta Smith can...
Devonta Smith has a better odds of getting a 50-50 ball.
Devonta Smith can jump up there and take a 50-50 ball
but he ain't AJ Brown when it comes to a 50-50 ball. AJ Brown, you throw the ball up to him, he's a big boy. He's going to catch the ball. Yeah, my point exactly is you're not going to have that same replication where you could just say, F it, AJ Brown's down there somewhere and just gun the ball.
That's why his Instagram name is 1K always open.
Yeah. They literally did that a lot of times. We're just like, screw it, he's open, throw it down there.
Like Mahomes, good luck doing Mahomes to Tyreek, and you know what? He's open. He's somewhere. Tyreek somewhere down there.
Yeah,
AJ Brown's down there. Just throw him.
That's my point. They're not going to be able to do that with Devonta Smith and Hollywood Brown. They ain't going up against some of these top corners and getting a 50-50 ball like that. Devonta Smith maybe. But not like A.J. Brown. That's my whole point. But
no.
I definitely think it's interesting to see the Eagles' offense try and move that direction with a new coordinator. It should be very interesting to see how that pans out for them. That being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Straight Out of Stratford podcast, episode number 37. I'm your host, Zach.
And I'm Julian.
And we will see you guys next week.